Everybody, it's Andrew the Moo, and here we go with another cutscene.
Subway station, check. Zombie invasion, check. Right on, back on track.
So I think now for us time to talk, discuss, and what's not about, since we're dealing with a lot of zombies right now, why don't we talk about some zombie movies? Zombies are about as, I don't want to say they're played out, but zombies are, they had their beginnings with the voodoo and, as far as the practices of voodoo and things of that nature. As far as certain people or having certain chemicals used against them by voodoo practitioners in order to bring them under control and make them like mindless zombies. But zombies are one of those things that has always really scared people,
Wonder where all those meteors are coming from.
Yes, wondering where all those meteors are coming from. We don't really know at the moment. Just a lot of meteors around here. And I remember one of the first zombie movies I ever saw was George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, in which a meteor had caused a lot of the problems. If I remember correctly, there was a meteor that was flying overhead, and because it flew too close, the radiation brought the dead back to life. And of course, from there we had Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead was really good. Day of the Dead was not as good, but it's still good in its own right. And, there are other books, as far as other of the Dead movies. Them not as really good as the others, but, it's what you do. By the way, new enemies. These are quote-unquote spiders. So, again, we got the zombies, we've got birds, we've got bats, we've got leeches, and we now have spiders. Guess what? We're going to continue reaching out to these tropes here in a few moments, people. Just wait, they're coming. But, zombies are one of those things that, as time went on, they stopped being as scary because we're like, all right, shambling masses. The thing, though, that scared me about zombies is the fact that there's so many of them. Where there's one zombie, there's probably hundreds, and it takes just one shriek, shrill, or the wrong sound to grab their attention, and you are dead. And no one wants to be dead. I can't think of anybody who wants to be dead. Do you want to be dead? I don't want to be dead. But that's the trick about zombies, as far as you get a number of them huddled together within a certain place, and they're going to eat you alive, quite literally. So they were always scary to me. And then in later movies, instead of just being shambling masses, now you have zombies that run. You have zombies that do other things, and I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I'm going to have people tell me how bad of a horror fan I really am. Because now that I'm talking about zombies, someone's bound to ask me my thoughts on The Walking Dead. And my wife could actually answer that a whole lot better than I could. I've watched one episode of The Walking Dead. It was the very first episode. And it's one of those shows that I've watched very little of it. I'm not really one to watch cable television or anything of that nature. And you go, well, they make Netflix. I understand that, but at the same time, I honestly don't have the time to really sit down and veg out and watch a lot of television. Yes, we're looking for a telephone. I don't really have time to sit down and veg out for a lot of television. In fact, after I finish doing the recording of this, I'm going to sit down and do a lot of my schoolwork. Today has consisted of, as far as spending time with my wife and making sure I do that. And we like to do just various things. Not necessarily, we don't like to sit down and veg out at the TV. Good grief, something was happening. I was trying to talk and I could not get anything right. I was getting everything very late. And so we had to hurry up and attack him so that he didn't have a chance to hit us. Making up for it right here with that one. Except for the fact I missed two. I missed two like a big old dummy. We got a cutscene coming up in just a moment, so we'll continue about Walking Dead in just a moment. Zombies.
A phone! Please work, please work, please work.
Hello? Is this the Natural Guard?
Mary Beth, it's me.
There are these creatures, and they're right outside, and I'm just a little weirded out right now.
The same thing happened at the trailer park. It was like this big creature made of trailers. It was so epic, and...
That's really great. I'd love to chat right now, but I really need to keep the line open.
That's just it. I got the answer to all our problems. You see, I've got this guitar, and...
I'm sorry, your call has been disconnected. Have a nice day.
Are you kidding me? Just when I was about to talk about the power of rock, everyone's a critic. But I can still get to her. I'll just take the subway. Now what?
To the subway we shall go. So yeah, as I was saying, like, and even today, I ended up, as far as after we finished some of our morning activities, I ended up, as far as doing some volunteer work at one of the local nursing homes around here. And now I came home and we relaxed at the house after running a couple of errands. Then we came here. Right now, my wife is currently visiting with some friends right before Hurricane Irma, by the way. We're like a couple of days in to Hurricane Irma, so we'll just see how that one goes. But yeah, that's just, you know, so now I'm going to go, and I'm probably going to end up working on some schoolwork here in just a few moments after I finish this. That's just the way it is. So I don't have a really lot of time for television and things of that nature. That's just the way that it is. But anyway, I'm hoping that the Walking Dead is something that I can maybe work on a little bit by little bit. But the way things are going, it may not be one of those things I really get a chance to do. But what I want to ask now is, like, as far as talking about zombies, you know, I made mention to it earlier. As far as my favorite zombie flick of all time would have to be a movie called Dead Alive, and I made mention to it a few moments, you know, in one of the earlier videos, maybe in the first video, don't quite recollect. But it was the video with, it was done by video. It was a movie done by Peter Jackson. And since it was done by Peter Jackson, you know it has to be good. But it's very dark comedy. It's what you would call black humor. And I would recommend it readily. If you want to see a gross fest, get the unrated version of it. Because the rated version of it is going to have like less gore and less guts and things of that nature. And again, you gotta like a movie where the main character straps on a lawnmower and runs headlong into a group of zombies, chopping them up as they're reaching out for him, and watching their hands and things of that nature just explode as they hit the blade of said lawnmower. Absolutely awesome. Would watch again. I own it, actually. 10 out of 10. We now have rats. Alright, we have zombie rats as we go through this game. So rats have been infected by these purple crystal things. So yes, we have that to contend with now. Oh no, what's going to happen? What will ever... I'll get it out in just a moment. Whatever shall we do? Yeah, we gotta save another woman from zombies and things of that nature, and zombies, and I think... You know what? I just realized there, I got threw off by it, but that was one of the pieces of Rob Zombie speaking to me and telling me, you know, that I could put him, you know, I had the chance to put him back together again. You know, so that reminds me about the boss fight. Rob Zombie, yay, I was able to get the Rob Zombie piece. Zombies are attacking me. But I'm trying to think of what else, one of the other reasons why I really like Dead Alive. It's just absolutely, it's a black comedy, so it's funny on top of everything else. I would say that's probably one of my favorite zombie flicks. Another movie that I would recommend you watch, obviously watch Night of the Living Dead, not the remake. You could watch the remastered version, because the original version, not quite the best looking thing in the world. But it's certainly not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Watch Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead is an absolute zombie masterpiece. I would recommend that any day of the week. Try to think, what other zombie flicks do I really, really enjoy? Probably I like Return of the Living Dead as well. Just simply because of the fact that it makes me laugh.
Hooray! Found one! Why do public phones never work? And what was that goop on the receiver? Time for Plan B. Looks like I'm hoofing it to the news station. Sweet! A train!
Alright, I got cut off just then, but there are scenes in Return of the Living Dead that makes me laugh. If I remember correctly, there's also an Australian flick called Zombie which has a different take on the zombie franchise and things of that nature. And I haven't figured out the blast technique right now. I was told how to do it, but I just never did do it. So I'm just getting beat up by these zombies, getting smacked left and right like a big old dummy. Because that's what I am. I'm a big old dummy, big old dummy, big old dummy. And I'm just getting smacked by these zombies. So, I mean, that's the big thing that's scary about them is they are overwhelming. And look at that, I died! Nice thing is, you can continue from the area where you died. Boop! And we're back! And I have invincibility! Yay! Get out of my face, old man. And the nice thing is, when you beat a stage and you restart it, lives are back from the beginning. So we finished the stage. But we're going to go ahead, if you know, you've seen how long this video is, we're going to go through another one. Yay! Alright, dude, hurry up. Just, yeah, but like, I'm trying to figure out what to do, and just like, come on, man, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. I got the accuracy at least. I didn't get anything else, but I got the accuracy at least. So, let's go ahead and hop into, or, you know, the next level, and, mind the gap, we have another cutscene, so I'll be back in just a moment.
This train is toast. Guess I'll have to follow the tracks into town. What? Can't be any dumber than taking the sewers, right?
And so if you can hear it right now, if you have something that is done by Rob Zombie, you have to have Dragula. Like, the only other song that I think we need at this point, we've got to have, like, Super Beast and Meet the Creeper. If those two songs do not appear anywhere in this game, then we have a huge problem. You know, like Dragula, Meet the Creeper, Super Beast, those are the titles. Yeah, get out of the way of the train. That'd be a great idea, good guy.
Sounds like the end of an Ozzy Osbourne concert.
So, you know, that's something we have to look forward to is the wonderful music by Rob Zombie, which you guys can't hear right now because I absolutely refuse to let it play. And so the zombies are coming towards us. And, you know, I want to go ahead and say this now, as far as I am so going to have people angry at me. So now that we're talking about horror and we're talking about Rob Zombie, the question that may be asked at this moment is, have I, Andrews the Moose, ever watched any of the Rob Zombie horror movies? I think it's like The Devil's Rejects, the Halloween remake. There's one of them I'm trying to think of right now, like, as I get nailed by, I'm assuming those are like exploding armadillos. I don't know. I'm trying to think right now of the movie and I can't think of it. It's the one where with Dr. Spaulding. You know, when he, you know, the first movie that had Dr. Spaulding in it, not Devil's Rejects, but another one. And it's the one like gigantic spider. Followed by millions of leeches for me. Sorry. Oh, what is the name of it? House of the Dead. That was it. Not House of the Dead. House of a Thousand Corpses. That's the movie. House of a Thousand Corpses. And House of a Thousand Corpses, I will go ahead and admit right now, I hated it. I hated it with every fiber of my being. The only thing I can remember flat out is the fact that, you know, I will say at the end of the movie, I was very happy that, you know, there was the rumors of Dr. Satan. And I just remember, like, the beginning of the movie, or the trailers had the girl just screaming, I think it was a girl, Dr. Satan, Dr. Satan, Dr. Satan! You know, as if calling out for him and whatnot. And then it seems like it's turning into a movie with a bunch of redneck hillbillies that are out trying to kill people. And whatnot, until you get to see Dr. Satan at the end of the movie. By the way, we have another cutscene to deal with in just a second, so we'll continue talking about Dr. Satan in just a moment.
Earth media considered it to be mere meteors.
More visions. Where are they coming from?
Outer space, man, outer space. But yeah, like, Devil's Rejects to me was never all that great. I just did not enjoy it. And again, that's my personal opinion. I mean, House of a Thousand Corpses. I actually like the Devil's Rejects more than I did House of a Thousand Corpses. Although, for some reason, I feel like here in a few minutes, I am going to have to talk about, to a degree, probably in one of the next videos, or one of the upcoming videos, I'm going to have to talk more about B-movies. And good B-movies, probably spend some time talking about some good B-movies, because there are some really great B-movies out there. But also talking about some of the bad B-movies that exist, because there are just as many of those, if not more, because they're B-movies for a reason. But that's something for a future episode. I don't know, I just never liked Rob Zombie's style of horror. And that's just personal opinion. I understand that there are people who absolutely love the stuff that he does, and I'm not going to fault them for that. You know, that's their opinion, and everyone has different tastes of horror movies. It's just one of those things that never did strike me as being something that I had to watch or that I had to watch again. You know, I felt let down by some of those movies. And by the way, just to let you know, we have another cutscene coming up with Mary Beth, so let's talk to Mary Beth after we kill these two zombies. See you in a moment.
Sweet! Another radio. Underground. I am not asking any questions. Ah. What's that? Rabid animal attacks all over the world? No! Even Cleveland? Dude, this has to stop.
Alright, I will admit one thing. I love how schlocky the acting is. It's like, even in Cleveland? No! I mean, this is following as far as, like, the B-movie stuff, so I'm actually going to give them a pass on this. Like, when I have to review this, that's going to be pass number 1 on the acting on this one, because they're actually... And I think, you know, reading the reviews of this, I think a lot of gaming companies actually, or review groups actually missed this. I think, to a large degree, they're poking fun at the B-movie genre of movies in creating this. Now, I could be wrong on that, but just seeing, you know, how Neil Patrick Harrison's reaction and how his character reacts to things, that's the way it seems. So I'm going to give him a pass on all that. But we're at 17 minutes, so I'm not going to really talk about B-movies here, but that's just something that just struck me as I, you know, re-listened to him. Because I wanted to beat my head up on a desk about this point in the game. And, yeah, I mean, like, the point where I wanted to, like, impale myself with my Guitar Hero guitar is about a little bit later on into the game. It's not good and it's not enjoyable. It's just...
It's like a train.
It's bad. But anyway, like, again, like I said, you know, the Rob Zombie genre of music... movies, not a big thing. I used to love some of Rob Zombie's music. In fact, Dragula was one of the songs that I really liked. Granted, you know, this stuff came out when I was a teenager, and I loved rock, and I still love rock and metal. You know, I love this kind of music. It's good to me. You know, and I know some people would, you know, say like, you like that trashy, you know, rock music. It's the way I was growing up, all right, man? You know, I to the point where I was playing some music for, or rather, my wife and I were listening to a radio station, and one of those things popped up. So, we are blocked, and we got to get the gate open is basically what's going on here. And I would tell her about some of the bands I listened to. They would come up on the radio, and she's like, what is this? And I would tell her the band name, the name of the song, and things of that nature. And she's like, I would hate this as a teenager. Now I kind of like it. Like, yeah, come to the dark side. We have cookies. But we're being attacked by, I don't know what those are. I'm just going to say they're exploding armadillos and call it a day. As far as like, as well as some rats. And man, you know, it'd be really great right now if I remembered how to do the exploding, the blast, the AoE attack that they told me about on the first level. But I, being an absolute doofus, forgot all that. Because I'm dumb. Because I'm dumb. And because I'm dumb. Go ahead. Come on. Come on. The rats are like trying to kill me. And see, again, you know, if it weren't for the fact that your lives replenish every level, that would cause probably a lot of issues for me right now. Oh. But yeah. One of the things that I just always found funny, though, when you talk about Rob Zombie's music, is how he is in so many video games and it's the same songs. And it's why I jokingly talk about, like, you know, Dragula, Super Beast, Meet the Creeper. Because again, you know, what is it? I just allowed myself to get hit just then. Twisted Metal 2 and 3. You know, Twisted Metal 3 begins with Meet the Creeper. Twisted Metal 4 has a bunch of his music. Nightmare Creatures 2, I think it is, opens with Meet the Creeper. So, I mean, there's so much of this music, so many games in the PlayStation era that had Rob Zombie. It's just no surprise that I'm seeing this game and I'm hearing Dragula, because these were the songs. But anyway, we have finished another stage as we try to find Mary Beth and save the day for humanity. In the very next stage, I believe we have another boss fight coming up, and you can probably guess what it is, all things considered. But this is Andrew the Moo. Have a great day. Horror movies. Bye.